Rose Garden was designed in 1916 by Beatrix Ferrand, who achieved fame as a landscape architect in an era when the profession was almost exclusively male. But Ferrand's vision for the garden wasn't fully realized until 1988, when the Rose Garden was finally completed with support from David Rockefeller in honor of his wife Peggy.
Beyond the Rose Garden is the Lilac Collection, which was established in the late 1940s with hundreds of plants from the breeding collection of T.A. Havemeyer, a distinguished horticulturist. Each spring, this corner of the garden comes alive with lilacs in colors from white and pale blue to lavender and deepest purple.
On side A is the cherry collection. In the first warm days of early spring, these trees transform into luxurious clouds of pink and white. The Lorillard family mansion once stood just ahead. Though it burned down in 1923, the stables, on side B, still remain. As we approach the stop, on side A is the Ruth Ray Howell family garden, marked by the long, low brick wall.
The Ruth Ray Howell Family Garden is a popular destination during the warmer months, when schoolchildren, families, and volunteers come to dig the soil, plant and nurture flowers, herbs, and vegetables, and harvest them too.
Please cut us off. Look at that bench, how all the green. We don't care.
Good point.
Can we sit on that? Where are you
Garden. The native forest on side A looks much as it did when a group of influential botanists and local citizens first created the botanical garden in the 1890s. At that time, all of New York looked very different from the city today. The Bronx was still mostly countryside. Manhattan, in the late 19th century, was home to individuals of astounding wealth who were also deeply civic-minded, funding public libraries, museums, parks, and universities. Their goal here was to create an oasis of beauty and learning, where knowledge, culture, and tranquility would benefit all who visit. The New York Botanical Garden was founded with these lofty ideals, and the then enormous sum of $250,000. Many prominent citizens contributed funds, including financier J.P. Morgan, steel baron Andrew Carnegie, oil magnate John D. Rockefeller, and Cornelius Vanderbilt II, whose New York Central Railroad laid the tracks and built the train station that many botanical garden visitors still arrive at today.
During the next few minutes, we'll pass through several of the garden's renowned tree collections. This is the beginning of the oak collection. The largest red oak in the forest is over 250 years old, much older than the garden itself. Some oak species can even live to be 1,000 years old. Such big trees can soak up hundreds of gallons of water a day. On side B, look for a tree surrounded on 3 sides by a low stone wall. It's a majestic turkey oak.
Oh, that's good. Right here. Looks like a two. It looks like a two? Oh, yeah, I see it now.
Side of the road, you'll see magnolia trees. In early spring, they explode with pink and white flowers.
In a few moments, we'll once again be crossing the Bronx River. Originating in Westchester County, it is the city's only freshwater river. Once, it was lined with factories, tanneries, and mills. Most are gone now, and the water quality has improved, attracting many birds and other wildlife. In addition to the river, The 50-acre forest we've been passing on Side A is important both historically and ecologically. It's the largest surviving stand of uncut, first-growth timber in the metropolitan area. Today, the forest remains in its natural state, although it has been subject to many unnatural human disturbances. To combat threats to its ecosystem, the garden is deeply involved in continuous restoration and stewardship of the forest through the removal of invasive species and the planting of native trees, shrubs, and wildflowers.
Ahead on Side B, you'll see an arched stone bridge. That area is called Twin Lakes for the lakes on either side of that bridge. A century ago, it was a lively spot for ice skating in winter. While there's no more skating, the lakes are still popular with water birds and seasonally migrating flocks. On our free Saturday morning birdwatching tours, garden visitors have spotted more than 200 species. Again on Side B is a group of modern buildings, which includes the Pfizer Lab, home of the Louis B. and Dorothy Cullman program for molecular systematics, and the largest and finest research laboratory in any botanical garden in the nation. Here, experts study the genealogy of plants and fungi. Much of the garden's primary plant research takes place in the nearby William and Linda Steer Herbarium, which houses more than 7 million dried specimens, some dating to the 1700s. The garden's research and conservation programs are among the most comprehensive and far-reaching in the world. Areas of research include plant molecular biology, natural resource management, and habitat preservation. Our programs stimulate discussion and disseminate information in order to help develop effective responses to environmental challenges. In fact, this tram runs on clean, natural gas, reducing emissions and air pollution. We thank Con Ed for their sponsorship of this effort to protect the environment and human health.
The inspiration for the New York Botanical Garden was the magnificent Royal Botanic Gardens at Kew, outside London. The New York Botanical Garden's first director visited Kew with his wife during their honeymoon in 1888. On their return, they successfully lobbied for a New York garden of equal beauty. In 1891, the New York Botanical Garden was incorporated by the state legislature with the intention of being a public botanic garden of the highest class. 4 years later, the founders selected this site, which had already been purchased by the city of New York, and enlisted Calvert Vaux, co-creator of Manhattan's Central Park, as the chief designer. The founders recognized that the property was blessed with a variety of microclimates for growing plants, and they also knew that the city's remaining wilderness was fast disappearing, so they set out to preserve it too.
As we turn off the main road, we'll be driving through 2 rows of American tulip trees planted over a century ago.